Hey guys, Corey with Palmetto Battery Pros, and today we're going to be doing a lithium conversion on this 2016 Club Car Precedent. We are going to be installing Eco Batteries 51 volt, 105 amp hour through hole lithium golf cart battery. And just a little bit about the battery. It is for 48 volt systems. Eco makes two different versions of the same battery in different shells. This one is made specifically for the Club Car Precedent, and it's going to go in really easily, and we'll talk about that, mounting this battery here in a minute. But real quick, you have your positive negative post, you have your communication port, you have your on off button. It comes with terminal protectors, and the hardware is M8. It is supplied. Next up, you have your dash mounted voltage meter, and we'll discuss this when we install it, but it's a very nice voltage meter. Comes with mounting brackets and hardware, the wiring harness, which is going to run to your communication port, and it's long enough to get up to your dash, even in a 6-seater. The installation bundle comes with Eco's 48 volt LifeBow 4 battery charger, and comes with some self-tapping screws so you can mount it down to your cart. This is the output, so we're going to put these to our main post on our battery, and this is our input connection, and that utilizes Eco's Quick Connect, which is a weatherproof, very secure connection, and that will connect to Eco's charge receptacle replacement. This is the Club Car Precedent charge receptacle. It has a 110 male plug here, so you'll just run your heavy duty extension cord to this instead of the old lead acid plug to activate your charger. And lastly, Eco does provide a really nice 12 volt reducer. This is a 30 amp reducer, and what it's going to do is it's going to take 48 volts from the terminal and reduce it down to 12 volts for all of your lights and accessories. And this is the wiring harness for the 12 volt reducer, and we'll discuss that when we install it. Okay, first thing, go ahead and put your key in the off position and put your cart in tow. Now you can go ahead and remove the lead acid batteries and clean your tray out. So once you have your lead acid batteries out, you're going to pick your best hold down bar. This was your old lead acid battery hold down bar, and go ahead and clean it up, treat any rust and corrosion that may be on it, and you're going to use this when we mount the battery. So you can go ahead and pop these out and remove the plastic cover. Next, go ahead and remove these two guys right here using your T30. And what that does is it gives us just enough wiggle room in the front here, so where we don't have to remove the frame or the shell in order to get this piece of trim out. Using your T40, go ahead and remove these two mounting bolts on each side. 2 on the passenger, 2 on the driver. Now we can pull this piece of trim out a little bit, pull the mat back. Once you have the floor mat pulled back, it will expose the 3 T40 mounting bolts for this piece of trim. And once we have those out, we'll be able to pull this piece of trim out. There are 2 items we're going to run up to the dash. Number 1 is our voltage meter wiring harness here. So these 2 are going to go to the back of the voltage meter. The second item we're going to run into the dash is the long orange wire from our 12 volt reducer wiring harness. And I like to pull as much slack through as possible, giving myself just enough room inside the battery box to hook everything up. But the dash is going to be a good place to hide this excess wire. And we're just going to zip tie everything to the existing wiring harnesses to make sure everything's nice and secure back here. Now that I have the wires run up to the dash area, I'm going to use the T30 here and here, and then I'll use the T15 on the top the small one on top. And once I have these out, I'll be able to kind of gently remove this dash and expose the back of the dash. So the customer already has an aftermarket voltage meter installed. We're not going to be able to utilize the space. It's going to be too close to the edge and we may not have enough room here. So we're going to leave that alone and we're going to install our Eco battery voltage meter right here in this unused space. There's nothing behind it, and we are going to use a hole saw to create a perfect circle here. And the size of the hole saw is a 2 1/16, would fit the Eco voltage meter perfectly, but it's a hard size to find. So if you have a 2-inch hole saw, you can use that and maybe just notch it out, but it'll be a nice, secure, snug fit. I've gone ahead and secured the voltage meter to the back of the dash using the provided bracket. So I slid the bracket down over the back of the voltage meter out of the stud sticking up, and then I used 2 supplied nuts to tighten them down. So now we'll go ahead and hook up the voltage meter, and there is a 4-pin and a 6-pin. You're not going to get them backwards, so go ahead and plug those into the back of the voltage meter in the appropriate place. So in regards to the long orange that runs to the key switch, I'm going to cut the eyelet off. I'm going to put a female spade connector on there, and I'm going to put it to the blue side of the key switch, so the blue wire. And we'll add this here, and that should give us 12-volt power when we cut the key switch on. And here's a final look at my key switch. You can see I've added the long orange from the 12-volt reducer to the cold side of the key switch and the blue wire. Now we are going to take all this excess wire, we're going to zip tie them together, do some wire management, and hide them here behind the dash. All right, go ahead and tighten your dash torque screws back. Once you get it in place, put your T30s on each side. Using your Phillips head, go ahead and remove the 3 mounting screws. Now we'll go into the battery box and disconnect the old receptacle. All right, identify the back of the charge receptacle, and usually somewhere about this far out, I will clip it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these wires through. I'm gonna clip them individually. So now you can go ahead and remove the old charge receptacle and you can junk it. Next, we're going to cap these off, hide them in the sheath. Slide your new receptacle into place and put the mounting screws back in. Okay, go ahead and put your trim piece back in and then tighten down your 240. There's 3. Lastly, replace the charge receptacle clip. All right, now that we have everything finished up front, we will go ahead and start working on the battery box and get the battery ready to go in. First, it's a lot easier just to go ahead and install everything before the battery. So here's my 12-volt reducer. I have it on the wall. Same thing with the charger, onboard charger. It is on the wall too, and that's going to give the customer a good amount of space right here to store some things, especially once I do some wire management. So you can self-tap those in. There's nothing really behind them. Just use some smaller self-tapping screws, and they're very solid. Both of them are definitely in there. They're not going anywhere. So now we're ready to go ahead and drop the battery in. And like I said earlier, we are going to use one of the battery hold-down bars here. It will grab the bottom of the tray, and we're going to set the battery right down over this. It might help to have somebody kind of hold this from the bottom. All right, once you have it down in place, go ahead and set your cap over it. That comes with the battery. Washer, bolt. Tighten that down. All right, battery is nice and tight. It is a very secure mount. And it's very easy to install this battery. So that's how you install the Eco battery through hole. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and do all of our wire management, get everything in the battery compartment hooked up to the battery, and we'll be just about finished. First thing I would do is go ahead and wire brush your main positive and negative cables. Next, identify all your 12 volt accessories. In this cart's case, he only has lights. So the lights is off the ground. You'll see this yellow bullet connector. We'll disconnect that from the cart side. And here's our positive from our lights, which did run to this. But we're going to take this positive and negative, and we're going to run them right to our 12 volt reducer. If you had more than two or more 12 volt accessories, I would recommend a fuse block, but in this case, we can just go straight to the output wires of the 12 volt reducer. Speaking of the 12 volt reducer, you can go ahead and hook your wiring harness up to the reducer. And just to give you a quick recap of the wiring harness on the 12 volt reducer, we did run the orange up to the key switch. The yellow and black, the smaller two, is our 48 volt supply. It comes with the eyelets already on them. Our red and black is our 12 volt supply. We're gonna send this right to our lights. Next up, and the last thing we're gonna be hooking to the battery is the onboard charger connection. So of course, positive and negative here. So I'm gonna go ahead and run everything over to the battery and do some wire management along the way, make sure everything's in the correct order and looks nice and neat. I usually start at one end and work my way over there, kind of zip tying along the way. We're gonna go ahead and hook everything up to the post. First thing I'm gonna do is hook up my dash mounted voltage meter wiring harness that we'd already run to the dash. So it goes into the communication port right here. And you'll see that there are two extra ports. What these are CAN bus ports, and they are probably going to be used for future connections via the CAN bus system, but for right now you're not going to use these. They're not going to be of any use to you, so you can go ahead and tuck them away, plug that guy in, tighten them down. Now we're ready to hook everything up to our positive post, and we are going to go in order, touching the post biggest to smallest on the out. So the smallest thing we have is our 12 volt reducer input. Second will be our onboard charge connector positive. And the last thing we're gonna hook up is our main positive cable. Okay, using your 13 millimeter, go ahead and tighten down your post, and you want it nice and tight, not too tight. You don't want to damage the terminal, but definitely no wiggle room. Then you can put your terminal protector in place. Now we can go ahead and hook up our negative side. And the same thing, we're gonna go smallest to biggest touching the terminal. 12 volt reducer negative. Here's the negative from our charger. And last is our main negative cable from our, goes to the controller on the cart. The only thing we have left to do now is hook up our 12 volt accessory, and we're going to do that right to the 12 volt output from our 12 volt reducer. So we'll go ahead and put these together, do some final wire management, get all this looking as good as we possibly can. Okay, go ahead and take the back of your charge receptacle and plug it into your charger wiring harness. And you can go ahead and hide that back here. Okay, so we have our 12 volt, we have our lights hooked up to our 12 volt here, run to our 12 volt reducer. We have everything hooked up to the battery, and we've done some wire management. I did leave this space in the middle open for the customer so he can use it for storage. But you can see I did secure all the wires and harnesses around the side here, and there's really not much you can do, just kind of as cleanly and neatly as you can, just zip tie them together and up and out of the way. So now we're going to ensure cart operation. The cart is in tow. We're gonna go ahead and turn the battery on with the on-off switch. It will illuminate. The voltage meter, dash mounted voltage meter, will light up and come to life. It's at 26% capacity out of the box, so we're definitely gonna need to max charge this battery before we use it. At this point, you can go ahead and put your cart in run. Put your key switch in the on position. Make sure you have lights, which we do. Put your card in forward and lightly hit the gas to make sure we have solenoid activation and proper cart operation. So we do. Reverse buzzer, and we're good in reverse as well. Now we're gonna go ahead and max charge this battery. Just take your 15 amp extension cord and plug it into your new charge receptacle. It will kick on the charger and you'll see the fans running, the charger's running, and it will max charge this battery. Shut off when it's finished. Okay, this battery is max charged. We're gonna go ahead and unhook it and we're gonna give it a test drive. All right, the cart topped out right over 27 miles per hour. I think the customer is gonna be really happy with the speed. I think he's gonna be happy with how it looks. I know he's gonna be happy with the runtime. He's gonna get about 40 to 45 miles per charge. And I think he's gonna be really, really happy with Eco Service. They have great customer service. So if he has any questions or anything, he can call them directly or call me, and you know, we'll be able to help him out. All right, guys, that's it for the Eco Battery 51 volt, 105 amp hour through hole installation in a Club Car Precedent. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and we'll answer them as soon as we can. And if we missed anything or if there's an easier way to do something, please leave that in the comments below as well. We're not know-it-alls. We're constantly learning. We do have these batteries for purchase. You can order by phone by calling us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at Palmetto Battery Pros, or visiting our website at www.palmettobatterypros.com. We provide our customer service through the purchasing process, into the installation process, and throughout ownership. As always, hit that like and subscribe button. We have more lithium unboxing and installation videos coming on different types of products, different applications. So we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, y'all.